Money, money, money. Let's talk all things money related when it comes to craft show vending. Hi there, welcome to the Upcycle Design Lab. My name's Cindy and I craft using recycled and repurposed materials to give you ideas on how to create more economically and ecologically. Recently, I was accepted to my first craft show, and I've been doing a series of videos about that. So if you're interested in any of the other videos, you can check the description box below. But like I said, today we're going to be talking about all things money related. So that's taking payments at the show, sales tax, and booth and other related expenses. So I'm pretty sure this goes without saying, but I am not an expert on any of this stuff. But I have learned a few things, and I thought I would show you some of the insights and things that I've learned along the way. Hey, before we get into the video, I did want to mention that this got to be kind of a long video, and so if you're interested in just a specific topic, you can check that out in the description box. Go to the timestamp area, look through the different topics, and click on that timestamp, and it should take you right to the area of the video that you're interested in watching. Of course, I would love for you to watch the whole video, but I know everybody's time is limited, and some of this stuff might be a little boring, as you can see from, I put everyone to sleep here. I've got the other two out of the frame as well. So do check out the description box if you're interested in a specific topic and you don't want to watch the whole video. So I think it's obvious that one of the easiest ways to take payment is just to take cash. So of course, everyone plans to take cash payments, but the question is, how much change do you need to take with you? I've heard some people recommend taking at least $100, so I think I'll probably take more than that, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what I'll end up doing. The other thing is that you obviously want to be able to take other forms of payment, and there are a ton of them out there. There are a lot of different card readers that you can swipe credit cards and take credit card payments. There's some other things like Venmo. I don't really know anything about it. I have heard that it doesn't have a transaction fee, so obviously that might be a benefit there. But I've decided just to go with Square because it was familiar to me and because I was kind of panicking like, oh, I better make a decision. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time researching it. So this isn't necessarily an endorsement for Square. It's just that it was a very well-known name to me, and I know some other people that have used it, so it seemed like a logical choice for me to select Square. So I did go ahead and set up an account, and I was relieved to find out that the minute you set up an account, you can start taking payments. You do have to key in the credit card information manually, but that's one thing that I learned about it. They do send you a free reader to swipe the credit cards, but it takes a couple of weeks to get it. So if you do run out of time, the other good thing about Square is that you can buy upgraded card readers and swipe machinery, but you can also buy just the cheap little card readers for $10 if you don't have time to wait for one in the mail. So here's what the card reader looks like. It's pretty well, this isn't it, obviously. This is the box. But I've got a creature on the couch with me. All right. So here's what they look like. They're really small. The credit card just slides right through here, and this pops into your phone. And I did actually purchase this one. It's for an iPad, but just as a side note, I'm assuming that this show is going to have Wi-Fi. So that's one thing I need to verify, obviously, because I was hoping to be able to take payments on my phone and also on the iPad, but the iPad requires that you use Wi-Fi. I just have to show you this. I have a little tiny creature that we're dog sitting. Anyway, so I think I want to show you quickly a few of the features of Square that I think are going to be helpful and really make things go smoothly at the show. So this is what the home page looks like when you log into Square. I'm actually on my laptop. I'm going to have to show you everything on my laptop because I'm using my phone for the video part of this tutorial, but um, so everything, of course, will look a little bit different on the app, just like with other sites that have full websites and application websites, but a lot of the features are the same. So this is the home page, and you can see that I have not fully set up all of my square options for my account yet. I don't think you have to set up all of them. And so here some of them I have set up, and some of them I need to finish setting up. There's a few pieces here that are not done, but it's fairly easy to go through all of these. They walk you through each of the steps, just like they walk you through setting up your account. And so far it's been pretty user-friendly, I would say. So over here is the menu bar, and again, I don't think I'm going to use a lot of these things. I don't really have a need for invoices at a craft show. Your account settings are just, emails, passwords, things like that that you can take a look at your leisure. I have nothing under reports, obviously, because I don't have any sales yet. Transactions and reports are sort of similar. I do have one dummy transaction that I did here a few days ago, so you can see I sold myself some stuff and then I also had to refund it. But you can look at your transactions in a lot of different ways. You can sort them by date ranges, payment methods, whether they're complete or not. So you have quite a few options with that as well. Balance is pretty basic page. Right now my balance is 0, so there's really nothing to look at. Not a lot on that page. And then I'm going to come back to items because that's where the sort of most interesting part of this software is to me. Customers and team, obviously, if you had customers that you needed to keep address and name records on, you could. And if you had more than one person that you wanted to be able to access your account, you could also set them up under teams, I'm assuming. So as I said, the items section is kind of the most interesting piece to me. So I'm going to show you, I've already set up a couple of my items, and over here again, once you click into the items, you do have another menu, several menu options. Again, I'm probably skipping over most of these. I don't know what channel listings are. Modifiers are ways to kind of break down your inventory if you have a lot of different things, but then there's also categories that you can break them into. I'm not using any of that stuff. I did set up a discount just because I thought I might feel like I needed to. And the discount that I set up, I just named it freeform because it allows you to enter any amount at the checkout. If you wanted to create another discount that was just strictly 10% discount, you could name it 10% here. Which is going to be a 10% discount. Or, I'll see, I haven't done this a lot. So I think this is going to be a percentage. Oh, right. You could do a dollar amount or a percentage amount. So we're going to do a percentage of 10. And then you can choose some other settings about it. But I'm just going to hit save so that I have an automatic 10% discount that I could add to my items at checkout if I wanted to. The other thing that you can do here is your sales tax. And you set up different sales tax in a similar way to the other things that you can set up. But so I've set up this Santa Fe, New Mexico sales tax, and I've applied it to all my items. So it automatically will just add the percentage at checkout. So that's a handy option as well. Then options, I think is, options, units, I don't know, custom attributes. There's a lot of different ways to break down your inventory by just setting up one item and then sort of changing some different things. I haven't really gotten too detailed into it. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple. So you can see under one of my options, I do have, you can name it, you can put a description in. If you have categories set up, you can choose a category for it. I don't know, I guess if you had different locations, you might want to add different locations. You can use different sales tax things. Then the one thing I have done is I have used the variations. So you can see that for the accent mirrors that I'm selling, I've set up small, medium, and large and extra large price points for those. And then you can also add pictures of your items as well. So I thought what I would do next is just kind of try to set up a new item. So I'm going to go over here and create an item. And I'm going to name it Tin Can Christmas Trees. In case you're not familiar, everything I'm making is out of recycled tin cans. Like I said, I don't have any categories. I'm not really worried about descriptions. I don't have any variations. I just have one, so I can put in the price point. I'm just guesstimating right now. I'm not even sure what I'm going to charge, but I'll just throw a price in there. And then if you wanted to, you could add another variation and name it, like if you had different sizes or something. I haven't done this a lot, so I'm kind of muddling through it here. So I think I have that set up. The last thing I'm going to do is add a picture over here. And this is going to just let me browse on my computer, I think, and pull in the picture if I can find it here. Here we go. I might not have the best picture because it probably should be a square photograph, but oh, this one might work. I don't know if you noticed, but right before I pulled that picture in, it had a Coke can over here, and I think that it found that image when I typed in my name. So I don't know, it must kind of search for some images when you actually name your item, which is sort of interesting. Anyway, I've got my picture in there, I've got my name and a price, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. Wait a minute, before I do that, one more thing I want to check down here. Okay, yep, let's hit save. I'm not sure if I can figure out how to do this because you can put inventory numbers in. All right, so this is one of those sort of weird things where the computer version or the large version is different than the application portion of the software. Because if you look here, there is nowhere, for some reason it won't let me add inventory. But I went on my phone and it said something about add stock. So if I look now, I think I added some stock, except it's not showing here. So I don't know what's going on. That's really weird. Maybe if I refresh, I don't know. I thought I added some inventory on my phone. It just said add stock or something. There's an option when you're inside the item. See, now you can see that I have 6 things in inventory. So I don't know how to add them on my computer, but it does look like it's pretty easy to add from the application. And I may try to show that on the iPad here in a little bit. But it's nice that you can add all these things, pictures, attributes, and prices and inventory to the software so that when you're doing your sales, everything should go much more smoothly and more quickly. All right, so this is the main menu on the iPad, and it looks pretty similar on your phone as well. Hopefully you can see it all right. I don't have the best technology for filming everything here. So you can see all your menu items. They're similar as to what was on the laptop. And I'm just going to, there's also some buttons along the bottom here as well. But I'm going to go to the items button just to show you how I added inventory. I don't know why I couldn't find this on the laptop, but for some reason, I don't know, it didn't want to work. So all you need to do to add your inventory is to choose one of your items. And then because this has several options, I can go down here. Now you can see I already added some inventory, but I'm going to go ahead and try to change those numbers. So I'm just going to add some stock. So stock received, I'm going to put 2, and we'll see. It may add 2 more. I think it's probably going to, I should probably choose a different number. Let's choose 10 just so it's really obvious. I think I had 2 before, so it should change it to 12, which it does. So you'll want to keep that in mind if you already have inventory that you only want to add or change the amount by the number that you want to adjust it by, not the total number that you have. So I want to go ahead and save that. And then I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can add an item to the checkout. So we're going to hit the checkout button. And go back one more. Oh, yeah, checkout. So there's a couple of different options for checkout. I don't exactly know how to use favorites, so I'm not really going to worry about that right now. I'm assuming you could, you know, if you had a lot of things that you wanted to, if you had a lot of inventory and you had a couple things that you wanted to find very easily, you could set them up under favorites. But for right now, I'm just going to show you the keypad, which is a way to add something manually. So if somebody brings you something that costs $20, you can just put in $20 and you'll see that it's added in the tax amount that I have, and the charge is $21.69. So if you hit charge, you have an assortment of ways to pay. So they can pay cash, they can do gift cards if you had them, all sorts of different things. And so you can see here that it will take a manual credit card entry, and I think that's because I don't have the reader in here, so I may try to set up the reader here in just a minute. But if you tap that, you can see where you can put in the credit card information manually to do the charge. So I want to back out of here, and I just want to erase this bit, so I'm going to hit these little dots up here and clear the item. Hey, if you're enjoying today's content, please be sure to like this video, share it with anybody you think might enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video from the Upcycle Design Lab. So the other way to add items to your checkout is to go to your library. So here's the keypad that we were just using, and if you go to the middle button, it says library. And the first 5 items I think are just automatically there. Then below that, I think are sort of your most used items. So you can see I have my discounts there in addition to the inventory that I've set up. But if you wanted to get to all of your inventory items, I think you just can hit items here. And so there you can see the 4 items that I have set up. And if you go to one of the items, this one has some variations. So I'm going to just add a large mirror, and then I'm going to add some earrings, an engraved pair. And if my Christmas trees only have one variation, so you'll notice that if I tap this, it doesn't take me to another screen. It will just add it to the receipt over here. So I've got an accent mirror, my tin can earrings, and the tin can Christmas tree all added to the checkout, and it automatically has added the tax in. You can see here where I could add a discount if I wanted to, and it'll bring up the 2 discounts that I have. If I put in a 10% discount, it automatically just does that. Now, the only thing I'm not familiar with is how to delete a line item. So if I entered the wrong amount, perhaps. Oh, I can just tap on that. That's handy. And hit delete. They want you to delete it twice, it looks like, just to be sure. And then you have to tell it you're done. So it's taken that discount off. So if I wanted to correct the discount, I could go to the freeform button and just put in 5%. Oops. I guess I'm just going to hit the X because that's my only option. It didn't add it, so let's see. We'll try that again. 5, and then we'll hit the plus button, and there it added my 5% discount. So that's a lot faster than trying to manually key in things or remember what, the prices were when somebody's at the checkout. So I'm going to plug in my little square reader now. The only thing about the iPad is that this little reader plugs into the charging port. I'm going to try to do this without sliding everything around here. It's a little awkward. All right. So pay attention to the screen. I think you're going to see. You can see that it's connected now. So if I hit this charge button, at the top you'll see this added swipe to pay. And so you can just run the credit card through the little slot in the reader, and or you can still enter the card manually, take your cash, different ways to pay. One last thing I wanted to mention, I didn't mention it earlier, but the little $9, $10 readers, I found at Best Buy. So if you need one in a rush and you don't have time to wait for one, you can grab them at Best Buy. And they also come with this little sticker that shows that you take the credit card payments. So that's pretty handy as well. So one more thing about the Square reader is the fees. So I did find out that depending on how you take the payment, you're charged different fees. So it's actually cheapest to do the swipe, use the little readers and swipe the credit cards. They charge you 2.9, I think, no, 2.6% plus 10 cents, which is sort of a weird way to do it, but that's how they calculate all of their fees. If you end up needing to enter the card manually, they apparently consider it a little more risky, so they charge 3.5% plus 15 cents. And then if you're doing invoices or online billing, they charge 2.9% plus 30 cents as of making this video. So who knows, that's subject to change, of course, but so it's good to know that you are charged different fees just in case you are at the show and your reader's not working and you have to key in those numbers manually. You do need to be aware that the fees that Square charges will be different. So, so that's a good thing to know. So I think we've officially reached everybody's favorite topic, and that is sales tax. I don't know about you, but I just kind of glaze over when it comes to taxes. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to deal with it. But obviously you do need to collect and remit your sales tax. So in a previous video, which you can link to right now in the corner of this video if you're interested, I did apply for a business license, and I have a special event license for this event, because I am going to travel to New Mexico. So I need to remit my sales tax to New Mexico when this is all over. And I'll have to keep you posted on how that goes, because I'm not sure how much time I have once I get back from the event to actually send in the sales tax. I need to kind of refresh my memory on some of that stuff. But my biggest question now is that you saw how easy it was on the Square app to add in the sales tax. And that would give you a nice clean report at the end of the event that would show exactly what you needed to remit in sales tax. So that makes a lot of sense to do it that way. But I've seen some other YouTubers, and they've talked about adding the sales tax into your price of your item so that you don't add on additional sales tax. And it sounds kind of weird, but I understand why they do it. It's for ease of sales, when you are dealing with, multiple customers at an event. So obviously you wouldn't have to make change, or it'd be easier change to make if you had a cash sale, and then it's just cleaner for the buyer to look and say, oh, that's $20, and then they can just give you $20 for that. So obviously it's a little easier for the buyer, but I'm a little worried that I just want to handle the taxes the way everyone else at the show is handling them. I don't really care which way to do it, but I don't want to confuse the buyer by charging sales tax if everyone around me has already added it into the cost of their items. So I'm gonna kind of try to cost out my things both ways, and then when I get to the show during the setup day, I may try to talk to some of the other vendors and see how they're handling the sales tax portion. So let me show you just a few little scenarios that I've run based on the information, trying to add the sales tax into the cost of the item or add it on at the point of sale. All right, so here's what I'm talking about. I don't want to be too long-winded on this and boring, so you can take a screenshot of this if you're interested in some of the mathematics. You can kind of absorb it at your leisure. But what I was trying to do is sort of calculate a few different scenarios. So I set up my different inventory items in this first column here. And the second column is the price that I arrived at based on a worksheet that I did in a previous video to kind of try to calculate how much to charge for items based on the time and the amount of money that you put into making them. So the next column is just the 8.43% tax. And the $37.95 is a total of those two columns, the $35 and the $2.95. So that's what the customer would pay and what I would make based on adding the sales tax in at the point of sale. So my next group of columns is just taking that total of $37.95 and rounding it to a more, rounding it up to an even number, which is what I would charge. I would then be paying tax, the 8.438%, on $38 instead of the $35. So I'd be actually remitting more tax, more sales tax of $321, and I would actually only be collecting for myself the $34.79. And of course that's before the credit card fees or anything, if there were transaction fees. So this third group of columns is using my original price numbers, but just not adding any tax on, and calculating how much I would actually be collecting if I used my original pricing and didn't add any tax at the point of sale. So you can see that if I charged the customer $35, I'm still paying the $2.95 in tax, but that means I'm only actually collecting for myself the $32.05. And the final set of columns is based on charging in even increments of $5, which at first sounded crazy to me. As I've looked at it and thought about it a little more, I'm not entirely sure if it's a bad idea, but some people have said that you should try to charge in even increments of $5 because it's just that much easier for people to make payments and to do the math, and it makes some sense to me because I do think $38 is sort of a weird number. So 35 or 40 is maybe just psychologically just as good of a number to charge. So anyway, like I said, I don't want to go on too much about these numbers, but you can skip this part if it's really just crazy, or you can kind of think about it if you're trying to figure out some of these things for yourself. So the last thing I'll say about this sheet is that after kind of looking at all of these different options, I have chosen the highlighted yellow is where I've kind of decided to land with my pricing. So you can see in some places I did decide to charge a little bit more than my original price. And in other places for other items, I decided that I was just going to stick with my original pricing. And right now I'm trying to figure out if I can actually price things in increments of $5, if that makes sense for my booth and for the price ranges and everything that I'm trying to cover, because I want a broad range of prices. So I have a lot of work to do on that, but I just wanted to show you sort of some of my calculations if you're trying to do some of that on your own. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about was actual booth expenses, and I am just sort of beginning to get all of my numbers together, so I will probably go into more detail in a future video. But like I've mentioned in other videos, my booth was just under $400, so it's not inexpensive to get booth spaces at some of these shows. The other thing is I am traveling to New Mexico, as I said before, so I'm going to have hotel expenses, travel expenses. There's tarps and all sorts of signage and things that need to be considered when you're thinking about a craft show. I think there's also a parking fee at this event, so there's a lot of little hidden expenses that you want to try to be prepared for. And like I said, just be aware of that. Think those things through if you're thinking about participating in a craft show. And I will definitely be back with more information, itemized information, in a future video. So thank you for spending your time with me today. If you're interested in some of the other videos in this series, you can check those out right here. And if you'd rather just be making something, you can check out some of my tin can tutorials in the playlist below. I really appreciate you stopping by, and I hope to see you back here soon in the lab.